Oh, what's up?
There goes.
Yo, do we get the settings all good?
I think so.
We are in the place.
Okay, great. Bong bong. Welcome to the show. This is the Bodycast. It's the official podcast for the subreddit r/rap battles. I'm Copasetic, and with me today is a very esteemed friend
Pathogenic.
and our special guest.
Scomo, big up Rap is Full. Get your Rap is Full hoodies. Subscribe to Rap is Full on Patreon and YouTube.
Do all of that stuff. Obviously, r/rap battles is, of course, the largest online international culture online forum for the international culture of battle rap. It is its own international culture. What a save. You can find us on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, and the official Discord server in all of the links below. It's the only place for fans to go for battle rap news from around the globe. Boy, have we got a good show for you today. The people that are here, say hello in the comments, say what's up. Yeah, I can't begin to describe what a crazy show it is. It's a show that is very good, but for a select audience. It's not for everybody. It's for specific people. Path, how would you describe these people?
I would describe them as, in farming terms, one might consider them the cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. Like better than the rest.
They are the best.
It's true.
You're cutting out there, but I feel like I agree with exactly what you're saying. They're the best people. Shouts out to Viz, who's showing up.
Viz.
Shouts out to my mom.
Shut up.
Who's watching. But yeah, it's really the best quality people, the most intelligent people, the people who are the most cultured when it comes to battle rap and the movement around the world, which is what it is. It's amazing. And we'll get into that because obviously there's a lot to get into there. Before we do, the one thing that will make the show just that much better is if you grab your drink, your coffee, your wine, your beers, and you join us now for the community cheers. And we cheers. Cheers. Feels so much more connected now.
Oh wow. Re-energized.
Right? Yeah. It's the best way to enjoy the show, definitely. If you're not doing that, you're missing out. Wow, just a bunch of fans, just people who really love the show. We appreciate you. Visual says, pathogenic is
fire you back.
Oh, that's funny.
Is that sorry?
They're going to have it out. Fisticuffs, probably. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Kevin? What's up, G? Thanks for tuning in. Yes, we are definitely going to cover the Beast Mode event probably next week, if that's all the announcements, because boy, howdy, they got some stuff going on. But right now, this week, there was a lot of stuff that happened in the United Kingdom. And that's why we have our friend Scott Moore here, otherwise well known by everybody as Scomo. Scomo the GOAT, yep. Scomo the King. Not the King, Goat no. Mo. It's Goat Mo. Something about not liking King and Queens. Something, the guillotine. Boom! The crowd goes wild.
Anyone can get it equal. I don't believe in no freaking king or queen, and anyone claiming that sort of title will get the fucking guillotine.
Amazing.
That's it.
We were just watching. Yeah. Oh well, it looks beautiful on the footage, and it looks really dope. We just watched Scomo versus Scam, which is out now. Premier Battles on YouTube. Go check that out.
Pretty kind. These are too generous to me.
Well, we had it's very entertaining. I mean, I don't know what kind of feedback you get from battlers and fans, but personally, like, I really love your energy and your commitment, and your writing is good too. So I mean, it's exciting to watch. That's what I found.
Oh yeah. No, I did see one of the other bodycasts where you did the recap with Gas Buff, and I did see what you were saying about it, and like I do try and catch things like that, like whenever my name's in the mix, and even when it isn't, and like I think like I do appreciate it. Like I think for me, like a lot of people do describe me as energetic, as really intense and really passionate, and I recognize that I am, but like it's kind of weird for me in a way as well, because like to me that's just my normal. You know, whenever I go into a rap battle, or even whenever I do things outside of battle rap, me just being intense about things like that's my normal, and sometimes I need to adjust myself a little bit, because like that's not the sort of wavelength that everybody's on. But like, you know, the one thing I'm glad about is like I wasn't always doing that well in battle rap. Like I did have a run a couple of years ago of a couple of battles, and like it was sort of a flop. And like I think in the past year or so, things have kind of changed that have allowed me to get back into battle rap and properly try at it. Like one of the big things, like it is silly to say, but one of the big things that's helped me is like I have ADD. And so for a long time, I didn't have the medication for it. And my improvement in battle rap recently has basically correlated with me getting on this medication. Like it's basically the equivalent of Ritalin. Yeah, like getting to be on that and getting to have my nose put up, like I've noticed like it's improved my life generally, and like it's improved my battles. Like I'm decent at battle rap now, which is nice. Do you know what I mean?
You are decent.
I'd even
Appreciate
consider
that.
it better than decent. So
Yeah, so above decent. That's great. That's great. Congratulations to you as well, because I mean, you know, it is a journey, and I think that maybe that's what it takes too. You know, because I mean, I know a lot of people have been following you from the start, and it's nice to see where you're at now.
Yeah, because it's like I think like for a lot of people, like I sort of had it in my head that there was a moment like in battle rap where everything would just click, and I would suddenly go from being a shit battle rapper to like a fucking, not a top tier, but like, you know, like good, that there would be hype around me. But what I've found out is it's something that you build over time, and there will be moments where you take big leaps forward, but there will be setbacks at the same time. Like it's like life in general. Like you know, it is a journey, because like one of the hardest things for me early on was like I wasn't getting that good feedback like early on in battle rap. Like I was, for a while, I would have described myself as like the punching bag of the Irish battle rap scene. Like I was basically the fucking quintessential shit Irish battler. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, anytime somebody wanted to refer to a shit Irish battler, like, it would have been like me, or there was a couple other fellas, but like, you know, and that's, I sort of ended up internalizing that a bit. And like, you know, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't want to be the fucking punching bag of the Irish battle rap scene. I don't want to have to, like, you know, go about my life being known as a shit battle rapper. And that was a big motivation. Like, it was a big kick up the arse, basically, because that sort of stuff did stick in my head, and you know, that sort of thing still sticks in my head, and like that has been a motivation for me to get to the point that certainly that I am, and you know, it's a motivation for me to like keep going and go as far as I can with battle rap, because I've always said I want to compete. I'm not a
That's
gimmick.
fire. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we can tell.
Sorry for rambling at all. Like, I know these are like long form podcasts anyway, but I don't want to be fucking.
No, you're right. I'll cut you off. Pat, do you want to say something?
I was just going to say that the awesome thing about all of this and hearing it, and Scomo, you being able to tell your story, is so that other people can also look at it and see that a setback here or there, or maybe not getting off to the same start that you might have wanted, doesn't mean that you'll always be at a level in battle rap. That there is success stories of, when I started out, I wasn't great, and now look at me, here's where I am now. And wins and losses, they don't really attribute the same thing that they used to back in the day. You can lose 3 straight beginning battles, and if you learn from each one, you can get to somewhere that's fantastic. I mean, especially in the UK with Bizzo, because Bizzo had a run X amount of time ago and took a break and came back, and look at where he's at now. He's, you know, I would regard him as one of the best in the UK.
I think that's a big thing for me as well. A big thing, sorry, I just wanted to briefly interject with this, but a big thing for me, especially early on, and I'm sure this would affect like other neurodivergent people in battle rap, is I would have saw things in quite black and white terms. So like if somebody in the forum, or somebody in a forum, or a couple of people in a forum were saying that it was shit, or like a smoke break battle, or like I would have took that to heart. Like I wouldn't have been able to brush that off as well. whereas whenever somebody told me it was good, like, you know, I would be thinking, oh, I'm class, and, you know, I would have been sort of on extremes. Like, I wouldn't have been thinking of things in terms of trying to be rational about it or trying to be, like, you know, sensible.
You say neurodivergent, but that sounds like it. Every battle rapper, like, that's exactly.
Yeah. But, you know, part of, like, I always say this, right? I especially say this these days. A big part of battle rap, it's not just the prep and the writing and the performance itself. It's the psychology behind it as well. Not letting people get into your head, like being rational about things. Because if I want to win battles, then I can't let my emotions get in the way of that. If they are getting in the way, I have to try and be rational about things, like, whenever I can, and be sensible, basically.
Yeah, that's tough to do. It's a different kind
hard.
I would say that the feedback from the last event, because we're just coming off of an event you battled last night. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. Yesterday. Yeah. It was like a daytime event. Yeah. Like 12 to 6. Yeah. Like, it was a good event. I was the first battle of the day.
Okay. Yeah. I would say that what I'd heard so far is that you'd actually, you'd improved significantly, and you'd like changed a few things that you normally do. And I was just curious about that.
Yeah, so do you want me to just talk about that battle and how it went?
Yeah, just you, man, just you. This show's all about you. Let's go.
Yeah,
it's the Scomo show featuring Copasetic and Pat.
Yeah, so, like, I think, like, from my own experience, like, from my own point of view, like, I think I was a bit, I was a bit worried in the run up to it on the day. Like, I was a bit worried in case it stumbled or something like that. I was worried because I didn't know a lot about this opponent. And, like, I've battled opponents I don't know a lot about before. And Kingsley Kingsley Thunder, like, he's basically pretty much in his second battle. Like, there's another, like, he was, like, at the qualifier event where I battled Scam. That was his, like, official tryout in Battlerap, right? So I was there for his first battle, and his second battle was going to be against me. And obviously, I have, not to toot my own horn too much, I have had a bit of a buzz around me these past few months. Whereas Kingsley seemed to have been chosen at the qualifiers on the basis that he showed potential more so than his actual performance on the day. And that's something I noticed. But what I would say is, like, I was a bit worried in the run up on the day, right? I was worried in case it stumbled, and because, like, it's the uncertainty, like, always gets me, and it's still something I'm sort of like trying to cope with. And so whenever it came time to the battle, right? So he went first, and I think, like, during his first, like, what I noticed throughout this battle is he killed it, right? I'll say this off the bat, right? He was different. Like, it was an astonishing improvement from where he was in his tryout to where he was yesterday. Like, I was blown away. There was so many things he got right. I don't know if, like, I'm just trying to think of the best way to put it, but, like, during the first round, like, so I was going for a particular attack, right? I was going for attack of, right, I've been in the situation where people think I'm an underdog. I have a buzz around me now, so I need to assert myself as the guy around here. And this guy has been around 5 minutes. He can't talk to me because I'm the guy, right? So I took that approach. Like, I tried to, like, I did my usual kind of jokey stuff, but I also tried to be, like, forceful and, like, project loud, and be, like, be energetic and just kind of get in his face about it and say, you can't stand in this ring with me, right? What he did was he came with a lot of, like, he was a very comedian. He's a very comedian type rapper. Like, he's a very like, he came with lots of these wee quick jokes and jabs. So I would have wrote, like, certain bars that were quite well thought out. And lines that, like, there was good penmanship. Like, that was one thing I was really trying to focus on in this battle. But then he would come out, like, he would start a round with something like, you play table tennis with a helmet on, and the whole crowd was, like, in fucking bits laughing. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't getting that much
energy.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a couple of bets I was really, really, really impressed with. Like, what I will say, this is the best performance I've stood in front. I've had 6 battles in person. This is the best performance I've stood in front of, and I've battled people like Tech, and Tech has like probably 15 battles by now. This guy was in his second battle, and this is the best performance I've stood in front of. He had a couple of moments,
right? Coach?
Sorry,
who's his coach?
So his was Team Koj. I was Team Bizzo, but like what I would say, I do want to get into this, right? He had a couple of moments in the battle, right? So one moment, right, was he did like a grind scheme during part of the battle, right? Now some years ago, like I battled a guy called Dion, and I had this crazy idea, right? I'm gonna blow the crowd away. Everybody's talking me down, but I'm gonna do this grind scheme in the second round. I'm gonna blow everybody away, right? This is a few years ago, right? And so I tried it on the day, right? And like there's a lot of things went wrong that day for me. And basically I just kind of choked and stumbled. Like it's kind of like a double time sort of scheme. I kind of just choked and stumbled through. It was car crash, probably like a low moment for me in Battlerap. But we all need we all need to hit rock bottom to get where we need to be. And so Kingsley used this as an angle that I had been in this battle like a couple of years ago. And he took the piss out of me. And so he did a grind scheme that he nailed, and then he faked a stumble in the grind scheme, and then came back like, "Oh, I'm not you." And crowd, like, let's see, like the thing is as well, like it was quite a spacious venue. So the last venue that we were in for the Academy qualifiers, it was like there might have been only 50 or 60 or so people in it, but it was a dense venue. So whenever there was a reaction, it was really, really loud. Whereas this was a spacious venue, and because it's Nottingham, it's a bit out of the way for a lot of Battlerap fans. So like there wasn't a massive attendance. Like there was battle rappers and there was like a good few fans there, but like they didn't fill up the room. And so I had written my material as if I was in that previous venue, but this was a different kind of venue. And Kingsley managed to work the crowd. Like I had good material, it just didn't connect under the circumstances. And it is a shame, but like I have to give Kingsley his flowers, because like he had that grind scheme went off really well, and he had one other bar in particular. I might mention a couple of these, right? But because I want to give him this full fucking credit, because I was really, really impressed. He had a bar, right? And so no, I don't personally think this was a factually accurate bar, but it was an effective bar, and it was believable to people, right? So he had an angle about me saying one thing on Twitter and social media in terms of like about issues like equality and social justice, because like I do have a background in politics. I stood for election a couple of years ago. I wouldn't stand for election again. Long story. But so like I would be like quite left. Some Americans might call me a bleeding heart liberal, that kind of thing. So like
angle for this.
Yeah. So Kingsley was sorry. What's that?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm following you. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kingsley, like he was creating this angle. He set up this angle that, on the one hand, whenever I was on Twitter and Facebook and so on, I was portraying this whole egalitarian angle, like a whole egalitarian image, social justice image. But then whenever I was in my battles, I was sort of contradicting myself in terms of some of the stuff I've said. Now, I don't fully agree with that, but the crowd believed that, it was an effective angle at the end of the day. And the way he ended that angle with a really strong punch. And it was like, he's got two tattoos on one arm, no means no, and on the other arm, free Westwood. And I don't know if you've heard of Tim Westwood in the UK. I don't know if you've heard about him. Basically, Tim Westwood is a guy who's been facing allegations recently of like sexual impropriety. So he's saying on the one arm, no means no, arm, free Westwood. Like that was the bar that had two tattoos, one on each arm. And that punch, like the UK. I know a lot of people listening might be like Canadians and Americans and so on. The UK crowd like got it instantly. Like I was between that and the grime scheme. Those were the two moments I was standing to myself thinking, motherfucker. Do you know what I mean? He got me good. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he hit all those angles, he hit all those personals, he hit his jokes went off well. It was, I was blown away. Do you know what I mean? Like what I see what Gasbuff's saying. I appreciate that. I don't know, like I don't want to spend too much time on me versus Kingsley Thunder, but like what I will say about my material, like I went like just for the people watching, I went for a bit more of a bar heavy approach. So like I'm just gonna give you an example. So I had a bar and it was like Kingsley leaves us. No, I'll do another one. Forget sig breaks. When folk hear thunder crack, they hit the pipe of the rock on cue to manage the pain. So you'll never see girls crack and cue to rock in the pipe. rocking the pipe in time with thunder, like Andy Dufresne. So I had that kind of like,
That's fire.
Yo.
But yeah,
That's fire.
I'm pretty sure it did get a bit of reaction, right? It was quite well thought out. Like, well, not fucking blowing my own horn or anything, but like the quicker jokes that Kingsley did, like the more simplistic kind of jokes, but the snappier jokes, those ended up being more effective than my stuff, which was in principle more well thought out. And so it's hard, because I know it was good material. People were coming up to me saying that was a great performance. It was good material, but it just didn't connect in the room. And like I'm happy enough to give him his flowers. I don't mean any shade against him. You know what I mean? I hope he goes on to win the whole tournament now. Otherwise, I'm like, if he gets knocked out in the next round, I'm gonna look like a fucking dick. Do you know what I mean? It's always the way. But like, he's a really good kid. Battlerap didn't come naturally to me whenever I first tried to get into it. It's coming naturally to him. He is one to watch. Like, he's on his second battle. He didn't just edge it against me. Like, I would say there was some people, there was one or two or a few people in the venue said I won. I didn't feel like a winner standing in front of those rounds. I felt like he was the winner. And like, do you know what I mean? So I give him all his flowers, 100%.
So Buff says he's getting knocked out next round. Who is he facing the next round? Do we already know the next round matchup?
I'm being really bad here. Like, I only got back. I literally just got home, so like I had to get a train from Nottingham to Manchester, and then I had to fly to Belfast, and then I had to get an air coach from Belfast to Derry, and then I had to get my dad to drive me from Derry back home.
Where are you
over to England for Battlerap events? Sorry.
Where are you? You're past Derry?
I'm like 10 miles south of Derry, so I'm from outside a town called Strabane.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
It's my travel is always complicated whenever I go to events in England, unfortunately. But as I say, I literally just got back home like maybe a couple hours ago. And so my head's been a bit of a mess. I did try to tune into that recap the Premier Battles had on their channel. I know that they were saying some of the matchups. Unfortunately, I didn't catch all the matchups. I don't want to say anything wrong. Right, Gast, put the matchups in the chat, please. Right,
Gast, I thought you were a coach. I didn't know you were in this. I thought you were a coach, man. Yeah, I thought this was your league.
Yeah. We need
the
details. We need the data. We need the info. We need the intel. That's
so,
what we need.
Aside from you and Kingsley Thunder, who would you say, like, I mean, I'm hearing performance of the night was maybe the main event. I'm hearing that body of the night was obviously Free Will. I mean, what were some of the highlights, some of the standouts for you?
Yeah, like Yanniff versus Free Will's performance against Yanniff. Like, obviously, like, I don't know how much you want me to say about the interpersonal drama.
I mean, we covered sort of the interpersonal stuff before. We've sort of set it up, so we know what's going on.
Yeah. So like basically like there's a whole thing in the forums a couple of years ago, the UK Battlerap forums, to do with Will speaking to a girl and sleeping with a girl that the Yanniff had brought to an event. And so this then got put onto the forums a couple of years ago, and it was a very messy Facebook thread, and for many this has been talked about for years. And Yanniff always said, like, I think Yanniff always said, maybe both of them said, that battle will never happen. We're not doing that battle. And what ended up happening was they both entered this Academy 2022 tournament. I think Yanniff got picked for Team Bizzo, and as soon as that happened, Kojay picked Free Will, and then Kojay then got the first pick to set up the battles, and he just immediately said Yanniff versus Free Will. And at that point, like, Yanniff, I'm sure, didn't want to give up his place in the tournament and give up his chance to go to New York. So through those machinations, we managed to get Yanniff versus Free Will at last, and boy, whoa, what a battle. what a battle! What a battle!
Lives up to the expectations, then, hey?
Yeah. Jesus, oh, there's. See, it wasn't just all like. I think Yannick talked about that stuff more. So I don't think Will really addressed the drama from years ago. I think Yannick addressed it a little bit. So there was a couple of topics. So like, there was a topic of so Yannick went sober for a few weeks. I think it might have been towards the start of the year. So Yannick went sober like for a few weeks, and as part of that, the Bison Briggsy, who's league owner at Premier Battles, quite a good friend of Yannick's, quite close to Yannick, said to Yannick, right, if you manage to keep sober for this month, I will give you a battle, a secret battle. Well, they said secret, and then they put it out then eventually, and he said, I will give you this battle on an undisclosed card, so you have something to work towards, something to focus on, something to keep your mind focused while you're doing this challenge for yourself. And so this battle went down. Now Briggsy, he had a battle like a couple of weeks later, and it was a bigger battle. So he was kind of doing it as kind of a more conceptual kind of jokey type thing. So Yannick prepared for that battle properly. It was a one round in practice. It was a 1 round battle. So Yannick did like quite a strong 1 round by Yannick standards, and then at the end of Yannick's round then against Briggsy, Yannick said, right, I'm done with 1 month clean of alcohol, and he just immediately grabbed a pint and sank the pint. And then people were like, well, what was the whole fucking point in going sober for a month if you're just gonna fucking sink a pint? You know what I mean? Yeah, like it was. There was some people cheering in the crowd, and then there was a good number of people thinking, what the fuck is this? Bobby Rex did condemn him. Bobby Rex was standing at the front. I think he might have been one of the co-hosts. He wasn't happy about it. Briggsy like commented on it like just immediately as it happened, saying, "What's the point in that? Are we cheering alcoholism? Are we going to celebrate crackheads shooting up?" Like, he said something along those lines. You can imagine that kind of point. So. But then, as Briggsy, I know we're sort of going off on a little bit of a tangent. That's me, right? I go off on tangents, right? Anyway, right? Jesus Christ.
Well, I say, you're right.
I'll cut this short and I'll get back. Yeah, is that all right?
All right. Yeah, do it. Finish it up.
Yeah. So Briggsy basically he did like a more conceptual thing where he was reading off a scroll of all the issues he said with Yannick, and he brought in a few other battlers to sort of say their issues with Yannick. It was a funny battle, right? It was billed as the Yannick roast, right? And so there was reference to that, like, well. Sort of said, he addressed that in the battle. He addressed Yannick's attitude in general. Like a lot of people who battle Yannick clown Yannick. Like that's the approach that's generally taken towards Yannick, because I think a lot of people who battle Yannick, like if they're too harsh to Yannick, it sort of feels like you're going too far. It's unfair. Like it's a bit like kicking a puppy. It's kind of seen in those terms. Because Yannick doesn't really win battles very often. Free Will basically turned that approach in his head. Free Will, he wasn't really going for clowning Yannick. He was going in on Yannick. He was being savage. He was using serious. Wow. Like one of the first round alone was like devastating. Like I do need to watch the footage back myself. The third round, Free Will addressed basically Yannick's friendship with Jay Short. Jay Short has been...
There's a whole bunch of controversy around that as well. It's quite an endorsement for the whole. Not a paper.
It'll be released on Patreon. I don't know off the top of my head when it's coming out in the Patreon, but Academy 22 last 16. That'll be at patreon.com/Premier Battles. If you look at it should only be a few dollars or a few units of your local currency. It's the lowest. It's quite inexpensive. And if you get on that lowest tier on the Premier Battles Patreon, you can see all of the Academy drops as they drop. And it's good content. It's good content. So get on that. And I don't know, but what I would say is Free Will, it's not just the angles he chose, but it's how well it was put together, how creatively it was put together, and how devastating he managed to make it. and how he managed to use things that Yannick had said against Yannick to really like I would struggle to do this justice with words.
Sure.
But I don't know if you're cutting me short here, but I have a little bit more to say.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a great ringing endorsement. We got my guy Crow here, who's about to jump on, and we're gonna talk about more events. Man, I feel like maybe we should do a 2-hour show with you next time, and we'll just go into it.
Yeah, that's. Do you know what it is, right? If you give me, let's see, if you give me a heads up a week in advance, I could do like notes. I could do prep, and then if I work off the prep, then that makes sure that I don't overdo it in time. But yeah,
I think you're doing great.
Whenever, because I've been in like fucking radio and TV appearances like in Northern Ireland, and like, you know, in talk shows and stuff, and I always do my prep ahead of that because I don't want to go on TV and make a fool of myself. So like, yeah, just hit me up a week, give me a week to prep, and I'll trim it down. Sure.
Well, feel free to stick around. Obviously, we'd love to keep you as part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Going forward, because we wanted to. Oh, we just lost Crow.
Well, but in the meantime, while we're waiting for Crow to get on, Scomo, have you been privy to the previous years of the Academy moving to this one here and to 2022? Like, have you seen them and followed them?
Yeah, so like I think like for my part, like I've followed Battlerap kind of like I was following it on and off since around 2016. And I think a couple of years in, I sort of found out about Premier Battles. I found out that there was a Battlerap league in Ireland. So there's a Battlerap league years ago, fell apart, and then there was a new Battlerap league, and I found out about that one. And so I started getting into Battlerap properly about 2018. And so I would have kept a bit of an eye on the Academy. I would have heard a bit of the gossip. I wasn't at the stage where I was watching every single battle religiously back then, but certainly I did hear some of the ins and outs, and like I have watched a good few of the Academy battles, like because obviously going into the Academy myself, I want to see what to expect to an extent and what's come before, and so is there anything in particular that you're looking for me to shed light on?
I was just wondering if, in your perspective, and not just because you're a part of this class,
yes,
but if you found that this class maybe has some of the most potential comparatively to other years. Obviously, there's been some great names that have come out of the Academy. Visual. I saw that Milky won the Academy, and he hasn't really done much since. I don't know if there's a backstory on that I don't know about.
Yeah, Milky got a job. That's the short of it. Yeah, he got a job and he couldn't do Battlerap. He had to quit.
Understandable. And Elestine won as well, and obviously he's a big part of UK Battlerap moving forward. So would you say that this class as a whole, whether you make it to the finals or not, that there's a lot of big potential for new battlers comparatively?
Yeah, I think it is. It is a little bit different each year because obviously there is an Academy every year, but then like the influx of talent is going to range each year. So like, so some years you might have like a little bit of an off season, like different things like that. So like Academy 18 like is sort of considered the benchmark. That Academy final was LS Dean versus Major Concerns, which is still the most viewed battle of any Academy on Premier Battles YouTube. And like LS Dean, like I don't think Major Concerns is. I think Major Concerns is sort of like he comes to events. I don't think he actively battles, but LS Dean's still grafting away. Academy 19 did have Visual and Milky, but like I think to like earlier on in the tournament, it was clear that it wasn't quite the standard that there would have been in Academy 18, and so like yeah, like there wouldn't have. And I think for Academy 19, like I think that was the year they decided not to put every single Academy battle on the Premier Battles YouTube for reasons of quality control. Academy 20, like there was some good talent that year as well. Like obviously 2020 COVID hit, and like there was people battling in vape shops and things like that. But it ended in Slester versus Jester, which is like it was a decent standard in that regard. You have people like Savant, Kicknelly, who've since come back in Academy 2022 to give it another shot. Academy 2021 was a a mess. Like it was a mess. To be truthful, like there was an entire bracket of the tournament that didn't happen because like I don't think there was really any until like the sort of the tail end of it. There wasn't in-person events. So it was a lot of video battles, like, and it was a lot of like, it was what it was, and it ended in Graza versus Kupar, and Kupar, I think Kupar choked most of his third round. Graza got to the final with a couple of buys, because people dropping out and things like that, and like Graza, since like what I would say, Graza did hit his stride. Yeah. Graza hit his stride in that battle, in that academy final last year, and he's since been, he seems to have cracked Battlerap in a way. He's quite good now. He's got his own style. Like he's an entertaining watch. And there is a buzz about him at the minute. And Kupar is back in this year's academy, and I think, as Gasbuff said, in fewer words, because I always go on tangents. Gasbuff, as Gasbuff said, like I think at the time of the qualifiers, it was being said that this is definitely the best academy there's been in terms of the standard, in terms of the level of ability since Academy 2018. And obviously, as you can see from Gast, there's some people saying this is the best academy. Like there have been people saying like today and yesterday that the standard of the battles yesterday like wouldn't have looked out of place as academy finals. Things like that. There's really good things being said. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to seeing like the impact that some of these battles make whenever they drop, whenever people start talking about them. But
yeah, for sure. You're good, mate. That was great to see. I think that's a really good segue. Is actually Graza, and I remember when I first saw him, it was on Don't Flop. And so, speaking of Don't Flop, because there are some battlers who do a lot of crossover, we're going to bring in our guy, Young Crow.
What's up?
Gordon Levin.
How you guys doing? You well? Sorry to join late.
You're right, mate. Thanks for jumping in.
Should I switch my shit so it's on its side? Would that be better?
You want to be vertical and be cool and be different, or you want to be like?
I feel that. I'm staying with what I got. No. So how you doing?
Good, man. We were just talking about Premier, but also Don't Flop had a really big event. Their April Fool's event. Is that
the event was crazy good.
I get lots of videos all over Twitter. It feels like a great vibe, like incredible.
It felt. I'll be real. Like it's the first Don't Flop event I've been to for a while that felt like heyday Don't Flop. Like the vibe was crazy. Everyone put on, like every single battle had something great about it, and it just felt like there was a lot of innovation in the room and people trying to exceed what was expected of them. So I think it was just so dope, man. I really enjoyed it.
People who don't know the April Fool's event, and this one in particular, like all of the battles are like there's a different theme to them, or there's a different style. Like, can you sort of explain what happened?
Yeah. So this was the thing, like, in years gone by, this was the thing that started, like, Shuffle and Marlowe did the bad bars thing on that, and like, the compliments matches and all those kind of things were kind of like started at these events. So for this one, we wanted to try and do a bunch of new stuff. I mean, there was one battle that was like a normal exhibition match, which was Reverse versus Canal, and that was just because it was a fire battle to book, and it turned out amazing. But like in terms of the other concepts that we had, so we had a couple that were like kind of normal on beat clashes, so like a grime clash, a drum and bass clash, and those we actually did out on the street in front of a car, so it kind of looked like all those old videos from back when grime started and stuff. So it was really cool. It's kind of essence-y, And then we had so there was like Formy and Jay Franklin did a battle where they had to do the same rhyme schemes in each round, so they were given a multi, and they had to just use that basically.
That's dope.
It was really, really fucking cool. And in that battle as well, Jay Franklin I don't know if it was because it had some kind of rhyme component to it, but anyway, he did a backflip, like literally did a backflip on the spot, and everyone lost their shit for it, obviously, because it's one of them nuts performance things. So that was really good. For me, actually freestyled a lot of it because he came pretty under prep, but he was still good. He's quite a good freestyler, so it was all right.
This show has everything.
Yeah. And then we had Matter versus Mikey C, and they did alliteration bars. So all their bars were alliterative because they both their names start with M. All their bars had to be like full of M words, basically.
Crazy.
And it actually worked really well. Like Matter smoked that one. He was really good in that.
Fuck, he's everything he can't do. Damn.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he appeared loads of times in this because I think he's had quite a few battles booked on Don't Flop that ended up not happening, and so I think he wanted to he booked himself on like 4 battles on this card to make sure that at least one of them happened. So
that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, and in fact they all happened. So he ended up being a busy boy. But so then that was sick. I'm telling these out of order because I was kind of like all over the place because I did 2 battles on the day too, so I was kind of running around. Max Sherry and Wavy John. So obviously a lot of people know who Max Sherry is. He's got a long history in this thing, and Wavy John's a more recent guy. He came up. He was a COVID crop guy, but he showed some potential early on, and then kind of like I think he showed up to a couple events like a little bit wavy and kind of fucked him up. But this time, both of them guys, because they've had like quite tumultuous pasts, both of them showed up to kill because their battle was the loser literally leaves town match, right?
Oh no!
Right.
So the initial concept, I was under the impression that they had to leave immediately. Now, because of something that was arranged later on in one of the later battles, I think Max Sherry had like a little cameo in a battle, so he couldn't leave. So they changed it so they changed it so this basically the loser has to go to like a random ass town really, really far away from they are, document the whole thing, and like so basically I think we're sending Max Sherry lost, and I think we're sending him to some like
10 miles south of Derry. Am I right?
I think it's literally 10 miles north of Carlisle, so it's like quite fucking far away.
Shit.
And he's gonna document the whole thing, so there'll be some like bonus content from that one. And it was the best I've seen either of them. They were both fucking fire.
Cool.
So yeah, that was like actually a sick match, and I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be good on both sides, but it really was great. Yeah, Graza, the vibes were so good. Like the crowd was super receptive. If you had bars, they were reacting every time, and it was just it was lit. Yeah, so there was that one. Hulk did a battle against. So we did this thing called World War Hulk. I don't know if you're familiar with the comic character,
right?
But
Yeah,
basically,
where he had like 6 battles or something.
Yeah.
Like
So
6 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He battled
So
6 people, and like each round, like it would alternate. Like it was like he alternates between like whoever's opponent was each round, or how did it work,
yeah.
bro?
So it was like so basically the person who was attacking him went first, and then he got a 16-bar rebuttal, and it was the same thing. So he knew about 3 of the battles beforehand, and the rest of them were surprises, but he knew they were going to be there, so he had to freestyle against the last ones, right? So one of the it was sick concept, right? One of the battlers who was one of the written guys didn't show up, unfortunately. So we ended up throwing other random people into the freestyle section. So it went for me, then myself, then Canel randomly jumped in, fucked out of his mind. He was really, really trash. So he was like demanding to go first, and we were like, nah, you gotta wait. And then after me, he just jumped in, and like one of his first bars was like, I got fucking smashed before the battle, and I don't have any bars. And he literally said nothing. Like he said fucking nothing. And then he was happy about it. And then Hulk really smoked him, to be fair. And used some of his bars to come back and attack at us because, to be honest, I beat him in my round for sure. And so he did a bit of that. Then it was who was after him? Sean, I think it was Sean Cray, and he was really great. Like he leveled up loads from his Danny Jack battle too.
His Danny Jack battle was good.
Yeah, and he's way more comfy on stage now. He feels like a battle rapper rather than someone like stepping in and doing it.
Right. Okay.
And then Matter did a round. And did anyone else do one after that? I think that might have been it in the end. But originally we did have Bowski planned to jump in too, but he didn't show up to the event because I think he was ill or something. So that was sick. That was a really cool, different thing to do. And I think Hulk's keen to do it again like next year, but this time with 10 battlers or whatever. So we'll see. Yeah, Scomo wants to jump in. So that was great. Then we had Carlton Shanks, who was doing all defeat bars against. Right. So every bar had to be defeat related, and Impact was battling him, and he had all of his stuff had to be rounds related. So all the wordplay had to be about rounds. Just because like we wanted to take two really played concepts and see like which one won, basically, you know. And it was fucking hilarious. They both did a great job of like, you know, definitely hitting the spot with what we were asking to do, but also bringing in some other stuff that was related to those things, like, you know, in a bad bar-y way, but in a funny ass way. So
I think the cool. The next time they do that concept, it should be like fucking Lyrical Miracle versus your punches or like Peter Pan because they never land.
Yeah. You should have thrown in some ideas, bro.
You never know.
So there was
the one idea. Sorry. I'll just say this one thing. The one idea that I did want to see, right? So we've had grind clashes, right? We've had D&B clashes. We've had hip hop clashes, right?
You want country music clashes?
No, hyperpop clashes.
Hyperpop. Okay.
Do you listen to most hyperpop like Sophie? I don't know if Death Grips would fall into that category. You know, like Sophie. You know, you ever hear Sophie?
Nah.
No. Okay. Well, there will be some people who know what I'm talking about whenever I say hyperpop.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure I've encountered it, but I don't know the genre name specifically.
I've never heard of this thing in my life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
What is it like?
I'm gonna see if I can explain it better than I've explained it.
Maybe send me some links after. We got a limited window here.
Yeah, I'll crack on. You can tell me what hyperpop is in a minute.
Charlie XCX has been doing fucking hyperpop recently.
I would just call that pop though, but yeah, cool. That's good.
Listen, you guys, let's have a hyperpop battle right now.
Yeah. Okay. Crow, it's on you. Okay, I don't know what it is, but no. So anyway, I'll crack on so we can get the timing right.
Crack it.
So we had Reverse versus Canal, and this was fucking nuts. Reverse,
right? Like like last time I saw him was like it wasn't super impressive, and he was getting beat by who was it? Who was Carlton? I think it was Shanks.
Carlton Shanks. So he's battled for me, then Carlton Shanks, and Shanks went nuts in that battle, right?
Smoked him in that one.
And Reverse's shit was still good, right? But he everything that he could have learned from that battle, he learned and applied, and it was nuts. Like his 3 rounds versus Canel, it was. I would pretty much call it a body bag. Like Canel was good too. He wasn't smashed yet. And like he started out good. His first round was good. But when they got to the second rounds, you could tell that he was just like, I'm getting my ass kicked.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. Reverse was nuts. Like he's a fucking serious problem now.
Holy shit. Wow. That's quite an endorsement.
I absolutely like recommend watching that battle because there's not a like missed step on it. Like everything he could say and the best way of saying it, he just nailed it, bro. He's found a style that's just so good now. So that was sick. I loved that battle. And we had, in terms of the acapella ones, the last acapella one that we had. Oh wait, there was a battle in the smoke break, which was I had set up a tryout for this guy called A. Petrelli. And he was up against originally a guy called Wongo, right? And the Wongo guy didn't show up, and he didn't say he wasn't going to show up. He just didn't make it, right? A. Petrelli showed up with he had 8-10 of his boys. They'd all traveled from London down to Bristol to watch him try out. So it was like, we can't let him not do something. So he was confident in his freestyle ability. So Canel actually battled him, but at that point, Canel was so gone, like. His responses were fucked, but they were just doing like a 4-bar back-to-back. And A. Petrelli was really good. He smoked it. Like he definitely won the battle, and he didn't use any of his material because I'd heard his written material. So I think he'll be someone who, during the end of this year and start of next year, he'll start to come up. I've put him in touch with a few different leagues, and he'll be on Don't Flop again, but also he's probably going to be on the Process and things like that. So I think he'll be really good, and he's super passionate. So that was cool. And then we had Quill versus Mr. Tongue Twister cartoon bars.
Sick.
So I don't know if you ever saw the Quill versus Harry Baker
right
computer game bars.
Yeah.
So it was that, but all about cartoons basically. And
right.
it was great. Like both of them, did amazing. Like really funny references, really creative uses of stuff. They hardly even tread any of the same ground, which is what's really interesting. And it was a fucking incredible performance by Quill. Like he barely ever leaves the room without having performance of the night, right? And at that point. Well, up until he battled, I would say Reverse had performance of the night, right? Then he battled, and it was like, yo, Quill smoked it, like probably got performance of the night. They had the smoke break, and then it moved on to the stage stuff. And I'm not gonna take the piss. We were first up, me and my beatboxer versus Orwin and his beatboxer.
I saw,
we shut the place down heavy.
Damn.
And
I saw that clip is going around on Twitter.
Yeah. I can't wait to see when it's properly edited and stuff. And I had like maybe 15 people send me camera footage of it, because everyone, as soon as I started doing what I did, everyone got their phones out and they were like, fuck, I gotta film this. And it was just lit, man. Like amazing. The whole room front to the back was singing, because I basically, spoiler alert, I started singing, right? And I've been a singer for longer than I've been a rapper, right? And I can wail, right? So when I started doing it, everyone caught on to the words, and we had to like keep running it back. By the end, front to the back to the bar, people were singing along and dancing and shit. It was like a party. So cool.
That's too cool.
It's the most fun I've had doing battle rap. Like it felt like a gig, and I'm used to that. So it was like I felt right at home,
Well, Crow, let me ask you a question, because from what I've gathered thus far, obviously it was a huge night with lots of battles and lots of various different events and things. And how many times did you battle specifically?
So I battled twice. So I battled Hulk in an acapella round, and then I did 3 rounds on beatbox. And
are you involved with Don't Flop sort of behind the scenes as well, setting things up and helping run events?
So I was on this event. So basically, I'm like a freelance designer, and I pretty much exclusively do all their flyers and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I do all that stuff. But basically this year, like what wanted to do was like have a few events that were more led by people who were passionate about that particular event. So he did that, curated with Hulk doing a cappella and on beat. Mm-hmm. And I said, the one thing that I want Don't Flop to bring back, because it's pissed me off that it hasn't been on in recent years, is April Fool's. Like that defines the kind of the magic that Don't Flop can do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was like, we have to do that. And so he kind of let me, we worked together on it, but I probably booked half the battles on it or whatever. And I was like involved with a lot of the like concepts and shit. So, so I was involved with that. So there was, fortunately, the only thing I had to do like running wise on the day was I had to be on the door for a little bit, which sucked. but mainly I left all of the hosting and all that stuff. Er's good at that, so he just did that, and I was kind of like, I'm gonna need to practice because I'm stressed like fuck, you know. Like,
I was just about to ask you what your stress level was at, because like
crazy.
I imagine as a battler, it's stressful enough being like, all right, I've got 1 round against Hulk, I've got 3 rounds on this situation. Yeah. I'm on the door. I also put the event together, helped put the event together and set shit up. And I'm hoping it goes good. And I'm hoping I do good. Like, I can only imagine that it would be.
Yeah, bro, honestly, this is the thing. Like, I kind of like, I got the acapella round like locked, and I knew I was going to be fine with that, But with the on-beat one, I was more stressed about it because music's crazy important to me. So it was important to me that I represented myself to the fullest, Mm-hmm. And we practiced like one time when we had met up before, but we at the show we practiced one time at the start of the thing. Then their beatboxer showed up, so we had to shut up in the green room, right? And then just I said to Rowan, like, please make sure that like my battles are a distance apart so I can like practice and shit, right?
Yeah.
And so I pretty much had just done the Hulk round. I think there was maybe one other battle, but I couldn't find my beatboxer. So I was texting him like, yo, what's up? And then the smoke break happened. I was like, and he was about to go and hang with his friends or whatever. And I was like, yo, you need to come the fuck back here so we can run this because I am not fucking this up. And he came back. And I think we pretty much only ran 1.5 rounds before I heard Rowan going, right, I need fucking crow and crumpets up on the stage. And I was like, ah!
Oh, no.
I was freaking out. And then it's one of them ones where as soon as I had the mic in my hand, people were like, yo, you know, like smash it, crow, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, I just hope I remember my rounds. And as soon as I was rapping, it was easy.
Yeah.
It was like the whole, you know what it is?
Yeah.
It just switches on and it's like the other guy takes the wheel and it's like, yo, this is fine.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started singing and everyone was losing it, I was like, yeah. And then I really started enjoying it from that round onwards. I was like, yeah, this is great. So yeah, that was fire.
Something I didn't want to get like I wanted to maybe for us to have more time to get into, obviously, because this is a bigger topic and has to do with a lot of the community in the UK. But it seems like from, you know, talking to both of you guys, that Premier has been just murdering it. Looks like they're expanding. We were going to get into, the Undisclosed 4 in Scotland, Coat of Arms event announced in Amsterdam, and the South, the Plug event, Tech versus Frost, in London. But the Academy as well is
fire.
Is creating talent and really interesting matches that people want to see, as well as Don't Flop has been throwing events and has been doing really well. And we know that, you know, in the UK scene, there was a large divide there. And I feel like, you know, from your perspective, I want to hear from both of you guys. Like, does it feel like that's sort of being bridged now, or is there still like tension there, or like, how do you see that situation?
I would say there's a mixture of both. Like personally, I've never really been interested in the politics too much because I'm, you know, for most of us, this is a creative outlet and it's something, you know, I don't go and play football or soccer or whatever on Sunday with my friends. I do this shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's like, I don't want it to be like something that I have to be super emotionally invested in like some Game of Thrones shit, because I just don't think that that's productive and it doesn't do anything for the scene, particularly from my perspective. So that's why I've always battled on whatever league is gonna support what I do and like you know, give me good matches, because I just want the challenge of like, you know, can I beat this guy, you know, and putting it together, you know. I think that there's definitely a bit more bridging. I know that, to be honest, a lot of the trepidation that people have had with appearing on Don't Flop, because so many of the newer guys, you know, they weren't around for any of the drama or nothing. They were kids or whatever, you know. So they don't have any real reason to like dislike the brand. But I think that for a little while, it's there's been like inconsistency with like upload times and like you know, and things like that. So it kind of like makes it less of an attractive like thing to jump on. But a lot of that is kind of getting better, and also with the quality of events that have been going on, and you have people who are from both leagues kind of jumping on either card. I think it opens up a lot of good things really for the scene, you know what I mean? Because like don't flop gets good views still, or you know, good in what you could say UK views are like. So there's a lot of opportunities there for people to like get them bigger numbers and kind of get like different kinds of plates than they would on PB, like especially if they're, you know, more comedy oriented or whatever. And Premier, like they work their fucking fingers to the bone, and those guys, they're such an amazing force of people and they're like pretty visionary with what they want to do and where they want to take the scene and stuff. So there's amazing benefits for being on that channel too, you know what I mean? And they've been so good at harboring new talent and there is new talent coming up in Don't Flop. And I think, you know, one of the things that I've been pushing Rowing to do is to find new guys who no one's touched yet and bring them in, because that can only be healthy for everyone if we have more people to challenge us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. My opinion is, like, I'm over the moon to be invited to battle on both leagues, and I will continue to bring my best to both of them, because otherwise I wouldn't fucking do this shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, other people can make their own decisions about what they want to do. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it, Scomo?
Yeah, like, I think in previous years, like, obviously I have been keeping up. Like, years ago, I was sort of on and off keeping up with Battlerap. I did hear about the politics of everything. I have been, you know, in the past, I was back and forth in my head about the politics whenever it was sort of like closer to the time of when everything went down. I think the way that the scene is now is the politics, you know. There's always you're never going to get everybody in the same page. You're never going to, like, there's always going to be people who are never going to be interested in Don't Flop. But at the same time, like, Don't Flop is the reality of it is Don't Flop is getting traction, and they're doing good things. Like the April Fool's event, that is a good thing that Don't Flop. You can't deny Don't Flop, the April Fool's event. And so the view I would kind of take on it is, like, I think whenever Don't Flop was a really dominant league, I think that had advantages, like that you had the whole Battlerap mostly under one league, and it had drawbacks as well in terms of, like, you know, I think what we have now, we have like a sort of basically a multi-league system, where there's a Manchester-based league, and then there's a Southern-based league, and then there's Nolus Chat, who are taking up the mantle of what Gift of the Gab we're doing. And you have different smaller feeder, like Dub Scandal had an event there yesterday as well. So like, and I think, yeah. So like, but I think that there's sort of two things. Like, you don't want to get in a situation where everybody's keeping to their own league and everybody's gassing them up and telling each other that they're good. Whenever they're you know, and fucking backslap. And what you need is you need interplay between the leagues. You need people to be challenged across the leagues. One of the things that I respect about Battlerap over, like, ordinary fucking hip hop showcases, like, no harm to hip hop showcases and hip hop gigs and rap gigs and grind gigs and so on, right? But what the difference I see, right, in Battlerap, right, whenever you have an opponent in front of you, you have a benchmark of how good you are, right? One of the things I noticed about Battlerap, people were willing to tell me I was shit early on. And because people told, seriously, swear to God, people were willing to tell me I was shit, like, early on, right? And it's because of that I was able to get in the position to improve. That gave me the kick up the arse to improve. I wouldn't have got that kind of rigor if I was doing rap gigs and everybody was slapping me back and I was seeing the same 10 or 20 people every fortnight or every month.
Sure.
And so, but to maximize that, to have that properly, you need people going between the leagues. You can't have people fucking
and there's different
back and letting the thing grow stale and stagnant. So yeah, like, I have no issue with Don't Flop. You know what I mean? Like, Don't Flop did a good thing with the April Fool's event. Like, I'm not saying, like, I don't have any criticisms of any league, but, like,
of course,
Don't Flop did a good thing with the April Fool's event, and, like, I wouldn't, you know, I in principle, like, I wouldn't have an issue working with them. You know, certainly if they're doing more stuff like that, count me in.
Yeah,
sure.
It feels like a lot healthier place than it was even a few years ago.
I agree, for real. And I think, like, it's been through the efforts of you know, whether or not it's battlers or, you know, league owners and just people working behind the scenes to get it to where it is now. Because I think, you know, I really think, and I'm sure this has been mentioned before, but I think that time of, like, not having events and everyone being sat at home and all that kind of shit made everyone reevaluate, like, what am I doing this for the right reasons? What was the reason I even fucking got into this? And I think so many vets suddenly started going, like, you know, putting effort back in. So many of the younger, newer guys are like, this is, you know, they were developing their craft in a time when they couldn't go and do it in front of a crowd. And then so when they were able to be launched on a crowd, they were actually a step ahead, you know, from what people would expect them to be. And I think all of the newer, like, crop of guys really hold each other to quite a high standard. You know, we want to be in that conversation of who's the best guy out of all of us lot. You know what I mean? And I think it's super healthy. And it's that spirit of competition, even just within one league, that I think is the reason why having a Don't Flop and a Premier Battles and a No Loose Chat all operating at a high level is super healthy for the scene, because everyone's going to try that much fucking harder, you know? Like,
and it opens the door for things
sorry, go on, Pap.
That's what, no worries. I was just gonna say, it opens the door for things like No Loose Chat versus Premier. You know, 100%. It opens the door. There's been talks on Twitter as well. I know the Premier Battles had just tweeted something out about a hypothetical Don't Flop versus Premier event that could happen. And league versus league events in an area is always so cool to see. You get two different fan bases coming into one place. You always have a packed house because of that. It's just a positive thing. Like they always say, if you want to have success, you hang around successful people. If you want to have a healthy scene, you hang around with the healthy scene. And so when everyone's got the same idea moving forwards, getting together and doing all of these different things and working on your own thing, that way all of us thrive together. I think that that's really, really good to see.
Sorry, the interesting thing that I noticed as well is, like, I don't know if I'm correct about this, right? I think like 2 or 3 years ago, right, if somebody had suggested Don't Flop versus Premier Battles, like that would have seemed like quite a fanciful idea. But at the minute, it looks like we're getting to the stage where it's seen as being about the interests of battle rap rather than like past dramas and past politics. And you know, to me, that's a positive sign. Like I'm not dismissing. Like I do recognize there's going to be people. There's always going to be some people who don't want anything to do with Don't Flop, who don't want to touch Don't Flop with a barge pole. That's, you know, that's their choice. But I think whenever it comes to what the scene does as a whole, whenever it comes to leagues acting in the interest of battle rap as a whole, I think it's a good, you know, that's to me, like that's the lines I'm thinking along personally. So yeah, battles versus Don't Flop, love it.
I think that's a beautiful place to draw a conclusion for the show. Really, thank you guys for jumping on.
For half of it, but yeah.
Hey, we brought you on. Let's do it. Yeah, I really appreciate Scomo jumping on. Check out Rappers Full, and Rappers Comp Ireland. You fuck with them too?
Rappers Comp Ireland. Yeah, they've been doing bets at the minute. They have an event announced for November. Can I give a quick plug as well, Cope?
Please.
So basically, literally a few days ago, Scomo versus Scam has dropped on YouTube, and this is the first one of the 2 battles that have dropped from the Academy qualifiers. I had to win a poll on the Patreon to get this dropped on YouTube. Apart from that, and Matto and Savant, all the other battles from the Academy qualifiers were put on the Patreon. So what I would say to people is, get on that now. Like people are getting on that battle like hotcakes. You know, it's already in like over 1K views and like
basically 3 days. So the link in the description, 100%.
Yeah, Scomo versus Scam. Get on it. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Do the works because everybody else is getting on it. Get on
Hustle
that video.
bro.
Get
Hustle
on that battle. Watch that battle.
And
great work.
I'll throw a little one as well. Obviously, I got my battle on Premiere coming up with Lazy, so definitely come down to that. But also the PPV is just dropped for the April Fool's event as well, and that's I don't really know how to say it, but if you could put the link to that as well, that'd be fantastic.
Link there too. No problem.
I'll be there as well. I'll be there to see you and Crow or Lazy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. You can follow these guys on Twitter. We'll put their Twitters in there. We'll put everything in there. We're really good at that. And then at the end, I say, that's all for this week. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and join the Discord link in the sidebar because Discord is cool. And then also I would say that, you know, me personally, because I'm cool, like I'm just like cool like that, I would never ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. I would never ask that. I'm just too low key like that. But I have noticed that, yes, all of the cool people are liking and subscribing to the channel. So if you want to, I don't know, do what the cool people are doing, I'm just saying. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back next Sunday, maybe covering another part of the world, maybe covering the same part of the world. We don't know. It's a mystery. But also, shout out to Pat. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. And
thanks, man.
Peace out.